Okay.
Got
We're
it.
started. Yep.
Okay. Should I just get this? Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today. This is so much fun to have you guys here. Let's paint the cards. We're gonna do this one, and if I don't get too tired, maybe we can make a second one. So that's a surprise. So anyway, in order to do this, I'm going to switch my video to my desk so you can see what I'm doing. And here we go. Okay, so in order to paint this cute little bunny, I want to show you first how to draw it. So I draw it here on my sketchbook. So I'm gonna draw it again for you guys, and I show you how to do it. So I'm gonna get a brand new page, and I'm gonna get some hard pencil so you guys can see. Maybe let's see. Let me get a thicker one. This is a B. And I'm gonna show you how to draw the bunny first. Then after you draw it, you can trace it and put it on your watercolor paper. Oh, before that, I wanna say that we're making a card. So you don't have those cards that they sell already with the size of the card folded and all that stuff on the watercolor paper. You can just grab a little piece of paper and fold it up. Remember that the size that they use for cards usually is 5 by 7. And in this case will be 5, and the 7 will be the white because we have a wider drawing. So that will be the actual card. And then you will just find an envelope that matches for that. Okay, but before that, we need to draw it. So let's do that. Okay, so I have the painting here. Let me see if I can just move this so you guys can see the whole way. It's kind of hard. Let me move it to the side. Okay, so you can see. So the main character, of course, is the bunny. So what I use to draw is geometrical figures. What I do about that, the first thing that I want to draw is the face. So in order to do that, it's kind of like an oval shape. So I use a line to guide myself and to make a little cross, okay? And then I would just make that shape, okay? The shape of the head. You must be thinking, what is she doing? But this is how you draw it, okay? So that's the shape, more or less kind of like an elliptical shape. And then what you do is you add the body, which is another oval. So it goes from here. See what I'm always measuring? It goes from the top over here to this side. So I'm gonna go that, try to do that, and make an oval shape. Okay, that goes all the way here. So it's kind of like oval, kind of like a bean, actually. There you go. And then what I do is I will start adding the details to it, okay? So we have the ears. So we will be kind of like middle part of here, middle part of here. And I will come here, I will make the ear over here. Like that. You can see that. And then of course, lines are gonna interfere, so you can start erasing some of the lines. And then the other line will be over here. The other ear will be over here. Okay. So we have the 2 ears. These lines are a guidance for the eyes. So one eye will come, it's kind of closer here and a little bigger. So I'm going to come here and make that little oval shape in that sense. And then I will put the other one over here. Now, what do I use with this line? This line will be the guidance for the little nose. Like that. And then it has like a little smile over here. Okay. So this is just the main shape. And then this part, you must be thinking, what is, this doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna have to raise this line so you start seeing a little bit more of the shape of the animal. Now, this part, I'm gonna raise, brings a little, the paw here, I don't know how you call it. And then this one will go over here. Okay. So that's kind of like the shape. And then what you do is you erase, what I'm doing here, you erase part of those lines that are interfering there that you won't see on the animal itself. So the face is a little too big, so maybe I just adjust it. And I will put this over here. And then the magic of watercolor will make all these shadows and all these lines of like fuzzy of the animal that will be made with the watercolor itself. Now, if you want to make it a little more what you want to trace on your paper, you just add the little lines like that. If you want to make it look more like the bunny itself, and you just use the guidance of the lines and make them look more like the bunny. And this part, the paws, and this over here, that will be with the watercolor itself. And all this, all of this will be with the watercolor itself. And this dark part, I'm just giving you an idea of how to trace it, because the watercolor will do that, the rest for you. We're not doing a pencil drawing, we're doing a watercolor drawing. Okay.
So Elvira,
Yes.
it looks like Dorothy raised her hand.
Oh, thank
Do you
you for being my host, because I wouldn't see.
Well, I just noticed it too. So
Okay, Dorothy, can you open your mic and ask your question? Oh, microphone. I cannot hear you. Okay.
I didn't raise my hand. I guess I moved it.
oh, I gotcha. Well, there's a little raise your hand figure in the. I'll lower it then. It's in the Zoom. Okay. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
no questions, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, you can open your mics or raise your hand like she did. I have the help with from Marcia today. I usually, when I do the class, I really don't see that stuff. So this is great. So I'm just making it a little better looking with the pencil, but in reality, it's not necessary because we're just gonna paint it with the watercolor. The watercolor will do all this effect. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Then I have this kind of like, okay, let me finish that part over here. And then I will add the little cheek next to it. So he's next to his ear over here. You see that? Comes over here, comes over here. So I'm gonna go this way. And this is like a little bean too, you know, the shape. So it's kind of like that and like this. See? And then you had to add the eye and the beak. the most important part will be his little feet. So one line over here, and then I'll extend this kind of like that, kind of like that. Oh gosh, my son came and he doesn't know I'm in a Zoom. Okay. Shut up.
Hey.
I have a class here.
Hola.
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 Hola, everybody.
Okay, so I have the chick here next to the bunny, and then we're gonna add the Easter eggs over here. So one goes right here, very cute, huh? So they are ovals too, okay? They are ovals. So I'm gonna come and do this one over here. If you don't know how to do an oval like that, you can just use a line and a line, and then go kind of like this, trying to follow those two lines. So let's do that here. I can do that. And there's one, and then one goes over the other one. See, this one on the front goes over this one. So how do I do that? I come over here and I make the other one just like that. Now, one thing to make it looks like it's an actual egg, this is very important. These lines, the decoration of the lines are in the same, in the shape of the roundness. So that's why they are kind of like that. You will see on the drawing. That's very important, because if you make them straight like that, they will look flat. You know what I'm saying? So just like that. And I'm going to erase this one. And then this is the part. I'm gonna make those little lines, guidelines, to make it look round. See, this one doesn't show that much, but this one in the front will. Okay. Any questions about this kind of stuff? I think it's very self, I mean, you get the idea. You have to go on this kind of shape. And then you do that. And then you just put those little dots in there as a decoration. And then after that, we're just gonna be painting eggs. Okay. So I'm gonna erase this so it looks better. And one thing that is important is the horizon line, because they had to be sitting somewhere. So make this line over here and this line over here. And the rest will be done with the watercolor. Okay, so there you have it. That's the little bunny. Okay. Okay. So how do I transfer this? I wasn't gonna talk about this, but some people ask me in classes. Sometimes people don't know how to transfer images. So I'm gonna make it easy for you. What I do is to trace this, I will use my tracing paper. Let me do that. I'll show you real quick. And what I do is I use a pen that is thicker than the pencil. Why is that? Because after I trace it with my paper, I will use the graphite pencil to put it underneath that. And this, when you press it again on the paper, you won't see the lines on the if you use pencil. Okay, you see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to use a micron, and I'm gonna trace a little bit. Okay, Somebody's talking? Marsha? Okay. So let's see, I'm gonna trace my own painting. Let's put it like that, real fast. Okay. And this is just an example. I'm tracing my bunny real quick. And okay, let's do it really fast. And I'm giving you time to do this yourselves, so you can do it on your watercolor paper, because I didn't give you the sketch this time. I was bad. I usually do that. I give you people the sketch, but I didn't do that this time. Because I want you to learn how to draw it anyway. One of my students last time, she's like, Elvira, you always give us the sketch. Why don't you just show us how to draw it? And great, that's what I love to do. So, and I think her suggestion was great, so people can start drawing their own stuff. And then you can trace your own stuff. So let's see, I'm tracing this real quick to just show you. And okay, let's see. Oh, I did it real fast. So the reason why I use this black pen is because I will use the graphite, or you can use your actual pencil, and I turn it around and I will really do hard, press hard this pencil, really hard. And then when you trace it, you put it on your watercolor paper, this pencil will transfer. And then another trick that one of my other friends told us is that use a different color pencil, or what is that called? A pen. So you know where you trace already. So that's what I do. So I draw it, I trace it, and then I will have it on my watercolor. You see that? So I'm gonna give you a little time. If you're not following, that's fine. You can do it with the video later. Just show you this a little bit more time. So I'll give you to draw it. And there you have it. Okay. So how are we doing? I'm gonna ask people, how are we doing with the drawing? Are you guys ready to start the watercolor? Or you just gonna see the video later and do it on your own? No questions, no answers.
Ready?
Ready? All right, thank you, Patty. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to move my sketch. I was already done with this. I transferred it to my paper. So now I'm going to put it here. Some people like to use masking tape to glue it to the board. I don't think I'm gonna do that today, because this is not like a painting that I'm gonna use wet and the paper is gonna get all messed up. And this is a good paper. This is the Arches. Most people know about this paper. So it's a good paper. So, and it's not a wet and painting, so I'm not gonna glue it. So if you wanna put the tape, it's fine with me. Because you're making a card, maybe what you can do is just paint only this part and leave the rest blank. So you will paint just this part, okay? But because this is a demo, I don't need to make a card. I already have the card. So I'm gonna show you the actual painting. Okay. So in order to start this, I'm gonna tell you the colors that I use. Let's see. There's a main color that I use for this bunny, and not many people have it because it's very unique, and I love this color. It's called Kionite Genuine. And it's from Daniel Smith. And it's a gray color that has some kind of sparkle on it, like a shine, because it's a mineral. I love this color. Let me see that if the
I can't.
it's kind of
Hey,
blurry.
Yeah, can you spell that and I can put it in the chat so people
Okay,
know.
it's Kyanite.
Okay, genuine.
Genuine. Yeah. It's a color that I don't know. Sometimes you go to the store, the art store, and you see some color and say, I will buy. But I never thought I would like it, and I like it a lot. So this is a really nice color for the fuzziness of the bunny. But you don't have that color. Probably you don't, because it's very unique. What I do is I could just make different mixtures. I'm gonna grab here my brush with my paper, and I will show you some mixtures for grays. The first one that people usually have on their palette is mixture of the dark brown, here, it's over here, dark brown or raw umber, that is called, with ultramarine blue, and you get that gray right there. So how do you do this? You just make it darker, and then if you want to make it lighter, you put more water on it. You see that? So that would be kind of like the perfect color for the bunny if you don't have that gray that I'm using. Or there's another combination that I love too. And some people don't have it, some people have it on their palette, and it's combination of lavender color with neutral tint, and you get really nice gray too. Same thing, you can make it stronger for the dark shadows, and then put more water on to make it lighter. Okay, so those are two combinations that are really good for grays, and you can use this for different paintings. For shadows, they're excellent. So don't forget raw umber and ultramarine blue, or lavender and neutral tint. Let me see if I have those colors here so I can show you.
Yeah, I put those in the chat for everybody too.
That's great. See, this is the lavender, neutral tint. Those are the two colors that I like for shadows. Or if the regular palette that you have, almost palettes have those two colors that I just mentioned before. And that's the way to do the shadows. Okay. So in reality, you don't have to buy all kinds of fancy colors to make a nice painting. If you have the basic colors, you can actually learn how to mix them, and you save money that way, because these colors are not cheap. Tell you the truth. We get a little carried away buying colors, and I was like, oh, these names and all kinds of stuff, but in reality, you don't need that. You can, with a simple palette, you can do all these combinations. So anyway, so because I mentioned my beautiful gray, I'm gonna use it. Okay, I have it here on my palette. I have two palettes going on here because not all the colors fit on my only one. So I'm gonna use that gray. And I'm going to start somewhere, maybe start with the lighter grays. So how do I do lighter grays? Not so much paint, more water. So I'm gonna do more water right there. So that's a perfect tone. And I'm gonna start with these little spiky hairs on the top. Okay, spiky hairs, and then some spiky hairs over here on the side. Very, very light. Is the music too loud, Marsha, or is okay?
I can barely hear it. How's
Okay.
everybody else doing?
Yeah, because the last time when I saw my video, I was like, oh my gosh, that was too loud.
It does come in loud every now and then. It's going in and out. So
I think it's the music itself. Okay.
yeah.
But I don't want to be so boring with it, just listening to my kids talking in the background. I think it's better to have music. So I'm going to use this part of the face here that is a little light because I don't want to go all over the place and you guys are going to get all confused. I'm going to put that little line over here, very light, all the way to the little nose. I know you can see my drawing. Yeah, you can see my drawing. Very light. Then make it a little kind of stain over here. Okay. Perfect. And then I'm gonna start adding some of those colors over here on the top of this eye. Very light. Oh, well, I said very light and look at this. So this is the great thing about doing demos. You say something and something else happens, but that's how it is when you're doing a painting. So I'm trying to go from light to dark. So in watercolor, you always go from light to dark. And remember that watercolor always dries lighter than what you paint. So don't panic if it looks too strong. Put a little more water on your brush. And you spread the color with the water itself. So I'm following the shape of the face. And I got some blue here for some reason. So what do? I use my paper towel and I press and I get rid of it. Dorothy, you have a question? Oh, she still has the hand.
I didn't even see that.
Okay.
If you do have a question, Dorothy, you can unmute.
Funny. So I'm going kind of like, I don't know if you see what I'm doing in the camera. It's like I'm not going straight with the line. I'm just making little lines from bottom to top. Very light, okay? Very light. And then I want to come on this side of the face too. This is what is called the ugly stage of the painting, where it doesn't look like anything. But it will, believe me, it will. And I'm coming and putting a little, I'm just defining where the face is at, okay? That's what I'm doing. Okay, so now, one thing that is interesting about making animals is that as soon as you put the eyes, the animal comes to life. We can do that, or we can just paint the rest of the stuff gray and then bring the eyes. So in this case, I think I'm just going to do the ears first, the body first, and then I will put the eyes and we'll come back to, we'll come to life. So let's do the ears. One other thing that is important is, because it's a white bunny, what is happening here? We're just using the white paper as how you call that? As the white, you know what I'm saying? We're using the white paper as the white, and the gray is just the shadows of the hairs. Okay. Okay, let's do this ear. So notice, okay, hold on, let me move this a little down because you won't see it on the camera. The ears are a little stronger, you know? So let's bring this color a little stronger here. And we go only to that point. And then you water your brush and you're just gonna spread the color a little bit. Okay. Now, leave this part white, okay? Because we're gonna come later with a little bit of pink to make the inside of the ear. And this part over here, this line is gonna be separate and very light. Okay, just like that. Now let's do the other ear. Same idea. This is kind of dark over here. And I'm gonna go this way. And I'm going to wet my brush and I'm going to spread that color right there. Okay, then maybe put a little more color right here. But then I'm gonna leave this white over here to add that pink later. Okay, so later is now, haha, because I want these two colors to combine. So I'm gonna move my palette here. I'm gonna bring this. You guys have that color. I love this color. It's called Opera Pink. But be careful because it's very strong. If you paint it like with no water, it's super strong. Yeah. But that's not what I need. I need it to be a little lighter. So I put some water on it. And this is what I need right there. So I'm gonna drop it right here next to that gray. I'm just gonna go like that fast. And I want it to be mixed with the other color because it makes it more fun. And I'm gonna do the same over here. And then that's it. Okay. It's driving me crazy the fact that I don't see the bunny. So I think I'm gonna paint those eyes because I feel like I'm not painting a bunny. I don't know if that happens to you guys when you're painting animals, but I think the eyes actually bring the animal to life. So I'm going to use one of my pointy brushes. You can use rigger brush like this, or if you don't have that much control, you can use smaller brush. Maybe this is a little too tiny. Maybe a number 2 or number 4 also will work. So I'm going to do those eyes because it's driving me crazy. I don't know what I'm painting here. So what I do is I use my neutral tint. You can use some kind of a gray that you have in your palette, maybe a Payne's gray, some darker gray. And I'm going to define those eyes because I want to see that bunny. It's driving me nuts. So with this pointy, I'm gonna come. I don't know if you notice that the bunny here has like a little, the color doesn't go all the way. We have to have the sparkle in there. So you leave some white in there. And I'm going to come with my brush and I'm going to fill it up. And this brush is not collaborating, so I'm gonna use another one. Maybe this one is better. Number 2 is better. You need more paint. And I'm going to come and fill it up. See, filling it up. Leave that white in there, okay? And same over here. This is more detail. So notice one thing, when I'm doing detail, my hand is closer to the point of the brush. So to have more control. Okay. And I'm going to close it, maybe with that smaller brush. I'm gonna close it here. And then I close it over here. So see,
Elvira,
yeah.
Somebody has a question. Sorry to interrupt. Can you
Okay.
say what was the color for the eyes?
Oh, I use Payne's Gray
Payne's gray?
or any gray that you have on your palette. And if you don't have Payne's Gray, you can actually do that combination that I did before of the, what is that called?
The umber with the ultramarine blue?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
So that will work too.
Okay.
So Payne's Gray works for this. Okay. Somebody's on. Oh, thank you.
Yep. Sorry.
No, this is great because that way your recording doesn't have that many interruptions with the noise. Only my kids' music in the background. Okay, I'm going to add, because I'm doing this face now, I'm gonna add the little nose. So the nose, use your number 2. You have a number 2 brush, and use that pink again, any pink that you have on your palette, but don't go super strong. Just kind of like that, okay? And we're going to follow this little drawing here. This is a detail, but it's important. So we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna make that little line that goes underneath and the little mouth. See how when you put the eyes and you put the nose, the animal come to life? Before it was like, what is she painting? So now we know that it's a little bunny. Okay. So now I'm gonna come and start adding more of the body. So what are we doing? We're using the same gray for your combination. What you can do, because every time we do these little lines, you can have a little plate like this. And you can make that combination bigger, you know, so you don't have to keep on combining every time. You can make a big combination and then you have it all ready to go. So I'm gonna come and I think this brush is a little too big for those. Where is my number 4? Okay, that's my number 6. I lost my number 4. Oh, there is my number 4. I'm gonna use the number 4 brush to keep on working on those little fuzzy hairs. So again, I'm gonna start light. But then let's define the eye over here. So light over here, and I'm gonna put that shadow underneath the eye. And notice that I'm working close. And you spread the color. Don't go overboard. You spread the color a little bit with the water. Okay, right there. I don't know if it's that many. And then we're gonna do the same with the other eye. Right here. See, the color is too strong. So then I put some water and I spread it a little bit. Now you wanna define this nose a little bit more. You can put another layer here. And when you have a hard line like that, you put some water on your brush and you spread the color. See? Okay. Now I'm gonna start working on this part, okay? So let's do some light hairs over here, kind of like that. Now, as you can see my brush, and I'm going to add those little hairs. Just like that, you know, like this movement. It's important to know how to move your grids when you're painting. That's very important because it makes you look a little more loose. Okay. Okay, so I'm adding some light hairs here. This one is a little darker, that's okay. And then I'm gonna add some more. I'm gonna leave this space in between and I'm gonna add more hairs over here. See, that one is dark. It's okay. I'm just gonna move it. And just keep on adding. So basically you are adding the body some movement, which is these strokes. Now I'm coming this way from outside to inside, and I'm moving with the water, the paint. See, that one is strong. So what do? I put water on my brush and I spread it. See that? Same over here. And I'm coming from the outside to the inside to make it a little more. Now, if you don't like this to be so strong, you always can use the paper towel to remove a little bit of the strength. And I can do that, see? Okay. Leave some spaces in between and play with your brush in different directions so the hairs are not so uniform. Okay. Wow. Very good. Very good. We're going really good with this one. Now, I'm getting close to this area with more hairs, and there's a little shadow here underneath of the face. So I'm gonna come this way. Let's do the little hands first. So I'm gonna add that just like that. And then what? I'm going to spread that color to the top. You see my movement is to the top. And then I'm leaving white spaces in between. Okay. I'm spreading the color over here. And then I'm gonna start to add little dark values over here underneath the chin of the bunny. Notice that every time I add the color, I use water to spread the color so it doesn't get hard lines. So I'm moving this. I'm using the point of my brush and I'm making this darker over here. And then I'm adding some color over here with the water. And I'm moving the paint with the water. Now you have to define these little lines of the little hands. So there you go, right there. See that? Okay, we're doing great. Now let's do the other part. So the top part of the hand is a little darker. So I'm gonna come with more value, more color on my brush. And I'm gonna come and use that little line and put the color right there. And I'm going to spread the color with the water. Okay, remember we had the cheek next to it. So don't go over the feet. Okay. Now, let's do the other paw. Define with the point of your brush this part over here. Okay. And I'm gonna wet my brush. And then I'm gonna come and add some more of that color right there. I'm leaving that white over there and I'm making these little lines of his. Oh, see that? So now we have it. So this is so far what I have done. Look at it, the camera. It's getting cute. Okay. So maybe if you want to define a little bit more of the nose, what you can do is put a little bit of alizarin crimson, which is a darker red over here. And you can put a little tiny bit on that to make it a little more interesting. But really soft. So I put a little bit and then I add water on my brush and I spread that color really, really soft. Now, you can define the line that's underneath the nose with a pointy or a really tiny brush. One you probably have, most people have one like this. And put a little bit of that alizarin crimson right there and define that little line. Let me see if I can do that. I think they're gonna let me. And then, yes, just like that, no more. Enough. Enough of that. And maybe you wanna make a little darker here, you actually can. But be careful not to touch that other color on top, on the bottom. And I use a little bit of water to spread that color. Now this part over here needs a little more definition. So maybe I can go with my pointy of my brush and add some of those hairs. Really careful. Okay. So the bunny is almost done. What are we missing? The whiskers, that's it. So the whiskers, I will use my pointy and I will use maybe that same gray, the same combination that you have been using. But first of all, and always practice before you do them because you need to have a little more loose hand to do it. So I'm gonna use my pointy brush here and I'm going to practice that. Look at that. You see that? It's kind of like a dry technique. And if the thing is wet, it's not gonna work. So maybe we just leave it, let it dry a little bit because I just put some color in there. Okay. Now there's some definition of hairs on the top. Maybe I just put some more darker value here. And some darker value here. And maybe some over here. But don't overdo it. You know, it's so easy to overdo stuff in watercolor. You start overworking the stuff. And you want to leave some of the white space in between. Because the bunny is actually white, not gray. Okay. So there you go. So far, so good. Okay. So now, while this, I actually decided not to do the whiskers yet. Let's let this thing dry. What I'm going to do is I want to start painting the chicken. So let's use number 6 or number 4. Not such a big brush. Water it down. And what do? We use the lighter yellow first, and then we use a darker. We drop some darker yellow on the bottom to give it volume to the animal. I'm moving all these brushes from here so I can move my palette. So here. So I'm gonna use the lighter yellow that you have on your palette. That will be great. So I'm gonna use this lighter yellow I have here. Forgot the name of that yellow. It's a weird yellow that I don't know. One time I bought. It's called nickel titane yellow. I don't know. I think Ivan might just buy that. anyway, so I'm gonna put the lighter yellow that I have, and be sure your brush is clean. You don't want greens or anything like that. And let's add that color on the whole chicken. Okay, whole chicken is yellow. Little chicken. Okay, except the eye and the beak. Okay, and the feet, of course. Just the body. Okay. And then when you have this already wet and with that color, you're gonna use a cadmium color or a darker yellow that you have on your palette, and you're gonna drop it there on the bottom of your cheek. You see that? I'm dropping that color on the bottom, on the belly, and a little bit on the top. Okay, so see, it's coming to life. Now, if you have an orangey color on your palette like I do here, you can add that color too at the same time and drop it over here on the side. I'm gonna put some of that orange and some of that orange right now. And some on the top. So we're adding layers on wet and wet. Basically, you're letting the paper and the watercolor work its way. So see, it's already having a little bit of volume. You see that? So now, how do we define the bird? The eye, again, the eye is important. So let's use that Payne's gray or a neutral tint or any gray that you have, or the combination of raw umber and ultramarine that you already have. And we're gonna use a really tiny brush and we're gonna paint that little eye. Of course, you didn't paint that area. If you paint that area, you're gonna have to wait. But I didn't paint it, so I'm not gonna wait. And I'm going to define the little eye, and I'm going to leave one sparkle. And I'm not gonna paint the whole thing black. I wanna leave a little sparkle right there. See, the eye, you see that? It's not totally closed. And then I'm gonna come with a bigger brush and make that big. So if you don't have orange on your palette, what do you combine? You just combine a red and a yellow. Let's do that over here. We'll combine some yellow, cadmium yellow, and some red, and you will have that orangey color. But I have the orangey color, so why? I already have it here in my combination anyway, but I'm gonna put that over here on the beak. Just the beak. And guess what? Also the feet. So the feet are gonna have that orangey color right there. So I have it here. The beak is like a little V shape. The feet, I'm sorry. And I'm going to paint that just like that. Just like that. See, it's coming back. It's coming to life really fast. See? But then, if you see the original, it has a little shadow, and the shadow will give a little volume to those feet. So I'm gonna put, with a little tiny brush, I'm gonna use a little bit of brown. So put a little bit of brown on one side of the feet. Really carefully, huh? Don't make it look like it's going to combine. You want the definition right there. See? And with the same brown, we can put a little bit of definition on his beak. Be careful, careful. Look at that. is coming to life. Now, if you want to define more of the colors of the cheek, you can let it dry a little bit. It's better now. And add a little bit of orange if you want on one side, but not too much. Okay. We have the belly a little darker. Now it's cute. It's next to the bunny. Okay. Now it comes the fun part. Ha! Those eggs. Ooh, the eggs. Well, I hope you guys have a nice palette because we need some different colors to make them more fun. So let's start with the one in the back. I'm gonna start with the red first. So I'm gonna do that red line right there. Just gonna come just fast with a lot of paint and just fill up the blanks, just like that. Painting Easter eggs here. So I put that line. Now I'm gonna use lighter blue. Let's use some lighter blue here. But I'm not going to touch that red because I don't want it to combine. So I'm gonna leave a little space in between and I'm going to come and make this really light blue next to it. See, I'm just filling it up. Okay. And then we have to define these other lines over here. This is wet, so I'm going to come and with more value, more paint on my brush, and I'm going to add this line first on the top of on the extreme part of the egg, just like that. And then here next to this line, I'm gonna make this other line stronger. And then what? And then we use smaller brush and gonna make those little dots. Little dots. So with my little tiny brush, I'm gonna do some dots. Make it fun. Maybe you guys can paint this egg in reality. I used to do that with the kids when they were little. And it was kind of fun. So I have this, but notice one thing. This is important for the painting. I already did this part, okay? You see that? The egg, the lines is already done. You see that? But if you see the original, what is going on here? There's a little shadow next to the egg that gives the shape. That shape is important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry a little bit because I don't want these colors to smear. And I'm going to work on the next egg. And when we have these two dry, we will do the shadow on the egg itself. Okay. So let's do the other egg with the greens. So it's a lighter green. Let's see, a lighter green. It's dark green, but it's lighter, which means it's a lot of water. So maybe like this. See that? It's not that much intensity. So I'm gonna do that on the edge of the egg. And just a little line. Just like that. And then we intensify that color and make a white in between, and I am going to add the other line. Let's see. My brush is not cooperating because it's not getting pointy. And I'm gonna come this way, and I need more color. And it's going to go this direction to give the sense of roundness of the egg. That's important. Right there. Okay. Now I use some light green. If you don't have a really light green, you can use one of the dark greens and use some yellow combination. You combine both of the colors, and you can just add this, leave those whites in between. So I'm gonna add this light green over here. And then I'm gonna come with the other green that I used before. And I'm going to come this way and make it again. Okay. Now we do the blue. Some strong blue here. Make this shape over here again. This is a little wider. So you have a lot of paint on your brush, and you just do this part. And then we do the green over here. And that's it. That's the second egg. Okay. Now, we're gonna let this dry. And I'm going to define the horizon or whatever the bunny is sitting at. So I have a little line here, but I'm missing that line over here. So I'm gonna put it on my pencil. And I'm going to use a bigger brush. Let's see, number 8 maybe. I'm gonna come with my combination to make that shadow on the ground. So they are sitting somewhere, you know. So let's use the my combination of lavender with the neutral tint, like that. But guess what? I'm looking at the original, and because we have the bunny is actually gray, kind of grayish color. I cannot have the same color on the ground. So I'm not gonna use this combination after all, because I'm looking at the original. I said, this is not gonna be any contrast. So let's use a little bit of that brown or the raw umber, like that. Raw umber with a little bit of neutral tint, because the neutral tint will give some darkness to it. So that color will be better for where they're sitting at. And I'm going to come, I already have it on my brush, and I'm gonna come really fast and make these lines just like that, without really hesitating. Because if you hesitate, you're gonna get hard lines. So I'm gonna mix that again, because I'm getting out of that color. See, I have it here. And then I'm gonna put it underneath. I'm gonna not touch the bunny, just adding that color right there. So see, it's a strong, but guess what? You just come with water and you just spread that color real fast so you don't get those hard lines. This is a hard part, I know. It's not easy, but with confidence and with water on your brush, you can do it. Now I'm going underneath. I'm using the same combination, and I'm going underneath, not touching the eggs. And I'm spreading that color with the water that I have on my brush And I'm gonna go underneath this really fast. This is the hard part. You can practice this in another paper if you want, before you actually do it on the painting. I have experience with this, but sometimes people don't. You have to have a little bit of confidence with your brush stroke. So I have the color here, and I'm adding a little bit more just because it's too pale. We want a little, we want a shadow underneath the animal. And a shadow underneath the eggs. Okay, so here, sitting over here. Okay, now these things are already dry, so I can do that shadow effect on the eggs. And I have the color here on my paper. So here, I'm gonna come with a little bit of water, and I'm gonna use that shadow on the side over here. Really soft, really soft. Okay, and maybe some over here on this side to define the shape of the egg. I don't know if you can see in camera. Let's see. See that? Now I'm gonna do the same with the other one. See, there's so many tricks in this little painting, believe it or not. But you're getting it, you will have it on a recording, and you can do it on your own again. And it's a good practice. So I'm going to add some of that shadow here on this egg. Very, very light. And some over here, but more on the bottom. Okay. So now we're almost done with this painting, actually, believe it or not. So what are we missing? The whiskers. The whiskers are important for this little bunny. So I'm going to use my pointy brush. Now this is dry, so I can use that dry technique. And I'm going to use my maybe neutral tint. You can use Payne's gray. You can use combination of the brown and the blue. So I'm putting paint on my brush, and I'm gonna try it on my paper. So it has enough. And guess what? This is an important movement. Don't hesitate. You're just gonna have to do a fast movement. And the whiskers are gonna come from here to here. So look at this, just like that. I'm not talking because I will lose concentration here. There you go. You got the whiskers. Really fast, but it's challenging, I know. I know. So now I like to have a little more shadow over here. So I'm gonna come with my color again, with the gray color. And I'm gonna add some more detail over here to define. And I'm going from bottom to top. I put a lot of pigment in there. And then I will put some water on my brush, and I will spread that color right there. I want to have that more defined, and this part a little more defined. And same here. Okay. I'm gonna put some more shadow here, shadow effect, because the shadow is kind of light. So let me do my combination again. It's a little too dark. But remember, always the watercolor dries darker. So put some more. And
Watercolor dries lighter.
I was worried about this thing going. You're right, totally. Thank you for that. I'm putting a little more shadow underneath this, so it makes it more interesting. And I am not gonna overwork this. I think I'm gonna leave it the way it is. It looks really good, really fun. Now, you're supposed to do this as a watercolor card. So this way on the top, and you can actually grab in the inside, or you can even do writing over here, Happy Easter, or whatever if you are good at calligraphy. I'm not. So when you're not good at calligraphy, you have to do some different tricks. I will use, I will scan this, and I will use my Photoshop program, and I will use these beautiful letters that they have, and you can add it, add the grading on it. Okay. So this is one, you have to sign it. So I will use my micron pen. That one was a little too big. Let me use a number 5. I will sign it right here. And this is fun. Happy Easter. So how are you doing with time? You guys want me to show you a quick one or another quick painting, another quick card? If you have the time, I'll do it. Give me some thumbs up. Oh yeah, Carol. Oh yeah, you guys are ready. Good job. Okay. So let me switch the camera and I show it to you from another perspective. See. This is the painting. Very cute. Very cute. Okay. So the second one that I want to do, because I thought you guys were gonna have fun doing this, is this one. Little chicks with the eggs. Very simple one. But what you can do is you can make this one and then add some letters to it, and look how cute it looks when you put the letters on it. Okay, so this one, we can do it in like a little half an hour. I have it ready set up in here. I can show you real quick how to draw it. Let me get my
Does anyone want to show and tell their first one?
Oh yeah, that's right. Good way. Thank you. See, that's what you have a wonderful host one. Marcia Civic.
Mine's a mess, but I'm not sure I'm going to
Yeah,
show
I know
mine.
it's
But
a hard one. Does anybody want to show the first one? Okay, well, everybody's kind of shy. Ooh. Oh,
I didn't finish my first one.
oh, nice. Very, see, you guys are doing great.
yeah.
Well, I want to show you this one, so you will have the recording for do it later if you want. But I'm going to show you how to draw this one specifically. This one, little chicks. So let me change my camera again, and you can see this one. Okay. Okay, so I have it here. So how do you paint? So this is a really simple drawing, really simple drawing. These pencils are, I didn't bring my sharpener here. So let me get another pencil. Is the music a little too loud or it's okay?
Okay.
No, it's okay. Sometimes I don't know, I cannot control that. So let me get a pencil here with a better point, and I show you how to draw these guys. These are so cute. So they are like little A shapes. So you have this guy that is a little bigger. So you will have this type, this part over here on the head, and then it will come like that. Like that. When you screw up the shape, you can just erase like I do here. And then you just put the little beak in here and the little eye and the little feet. Very easy. And then I'm gonna paint the cheeks first and then we do the eggs, okay? So I have, I'm gonna use the horizon line over here so I know where they're standing, okay? And then I come and do the one in the back. It's a little smaller. And then I have this one on the front. So I'm using like an A shape, like one round over here and then bigger one over here. And you just close the circle right there. I erase those lines. And I do the eye here and the beak is a little triangle. And then I will add the little feet. Now the feet are here. Hold on one second. These feet are a little this way. Let's trace this part. And then I have this one over here. And then this guy is looking in the front. So I had this and the beak is in front like that. And then you have the little feet. Okay. And then the last one will be over here. And then come a little bigger shape. And I add the feet, they're like little lines, you know. Very simple. Then his eye, his beak is that direction and you only see one of his eyes. Now the eggs are confusing and difficult sometimes. Can you see the drawing? I think you can, huh? I mean, I think I chose a little harder. Let me see.
Yeah, you can see it. The feet are light, but
Yeah. Okay. I chose a bad pencil. I want to show with a softer pencil that is stronger. So you can see the shapes. It's so simple, but it's cute. And I thought it would be fun to show. And the feet. The cheeks over here. Okay. Now you can see it. And then the eggs, one is going the same thing that I did before. Then you have this oval shape like that. And then this one goes behind it. So I will have that over there. And then I have this one over here. And then I have this other one over here. And then you have the ones in the front. That's one like that. And then the other one comes kind of like that. What it defines this painting is the way the eggs are painted. So it's all those little lines, you know. And then this one with the dots, you can actually use the liquid what is it called that? Forgot the name. The biscuit, this thing, to preserve the whites. You can use this thing too. I'm not gonna use it because I can control my, but you can use this, the liquid Frisket. You know what I'm talking about. And you can just use that on these little dots. So you preserve the white of the paper. And then you will have all these other drawings on the different eggs. Okay. Something like this, whatever. So the whole painting basically is more just the shapes. It's only shapes. So I have it ready. I will transfer this, like I showed you before, to the paper. And I have it here. So, one thing that you need to use for this one in particular is the micron pens, because we need to define those black lines. If you have this, that would be great. I didn't use that on the other painting. Okay, so let's paint this one. Let's move this one around. And I'm gonna paint it real quick. This one is simpler because the other one takes a little longer with the hairs of the bunny. So I'm gonna use a bigger brush to speed up the process. So we already painted a chick before. So what did I do? I use the lighter yellow. On my camera here. I use the lighter yellow for the cheeks. So we can do this fast. I'm gonna fill out this animal with the lighter yellow real fast. Real fast. Paint one. While it's wet, I'm gonna add a cadmium yellow that is a little darker on one side to give it the animal some volume. And then I add some of that orange again. And that's it. I have one already. See how fast we can be. There you go. Let's do the next one. Lighter yellow. Be careful over here with the eye. Actually, the eyes, we can actually use the micron pen to define them. You don't have to use your pointy brush and all that stuff. That will be easier. So I put this lighter yellow, and then I come with my cadmium yellow, and I drop the color on that one. And then while it's wet, I can add some of that orangey color. So I have another one right there. So I'm doing the bodies first. Let's do another one real fast. Like lighter yellow. And I'm going carefully around here on the face. Filling it up. I come with my cadmium yellow and put it on the bottom. And then I add a little bit of that orange. And I have 3 bodies already. You see that? And then the last one, lighter yellow. I'm cleaning up my brush while I'm going, okay? So I don't mix in all those colors already. I have it clean. And working with yellow is always tricky because it gets dirty really easy. And I add the cadmium yellow over here. And drop a little bit of that orange to give volume to the cheek. Is that? So I have the bodies already. Now, what is the next part? All those eggs, all the beaks and the eyes, and that's it. So Let me get a smaller brush because that one is too big for that. And I'm gonna start with that purpley egg in there. If you don't use the Frisket or it's okay. You can use a really pointy brush, and I'm going to just paint around those dots because I can control that. If you don't feel like you can control it, don't do this. Or just make the egg one color. Doesn't have to be exactly what I do in there. Okay, so I'm painting that and the egg is done. Now let's do the other one. It has some light green with the lines like I did on the other one. And I'm going to come with my pointy. And I have the color already, so it's in two sides. So I use that green right there. And then I come with a darker green and define the middle. Okay. Gonna paint, put more paint on my brush. And I have the egg already. So I have two eggs so far. And guess what? What it defines this? The shadow that I did in the previous painting. So we let this dry. I'm gonna define this one. Go with the red real fast. And it has supposed to be some hearts, but I'm gonna just pretend that they're like little dots too. So I didn't do the Frisket. So I'm going around and with my point of my brush, I'm just gonna go around and define these little dots or whatever it is to give it more fun to the egg. And because I know how to control it, it's okay. But if you use the Frisket, it's easier. You will erase it afterwards. I didn't feel like doing that. So it's gonna be just the way it is. Okay, so I have that color. Then I have, I think it's some turquoise color here on my palette. So with the point of my brush, I will define those little lines. And I'm coming two directions. And that's it. And I will use a little bit of blue on the tip of the egg, right there. Now this other one has some blue. I already have the blue on my brush. So I will just use that blue wherever it needs to be added. So I'm gonna add it over here. And I'm taking advantage of the time that I have this over here. So I'm going to add that blue right there and add a little blue on this part of the bag. And then because I already have my orange on the palette, I just take it like that, and then with the brush I will fill it up. See? So I have 4 eggs already. Fast enough. This one is more elaborated. So let's do the opera pink, any pink that you have. And I'm gonna come and follow that design. Let me see if I can follow the design. You can paint these eggs any way you want. The important part is to have the lines that imitate the egg shape. That's all. That's the important part. Not that you have to copy exactly what I did here. It's just the give that feeling of roundness with the paint itself. So I'm making this a little wider, and then I will add some red in here. And then maybe I use a smaller brush. Let me see. What is my smaller brush? Oh, there it is. A tiny brush to define these little lines right here. You see, that's why you have to have different size brushes to speed up the process. Now I have this last one is with, we have turquoise. How do you make turquoise, by the way? That would be a good question. If you don't have turquoise, you can always have a blue. This is a good question. You can use any blue with green, with dark green. Let's see. Some green and more blue. No, it's a little too dark. Maybe a lighter green. That's kind of like that. Lighter green with a blue will give you turquoise. Okay. That color is really good for when you're painting oceans in the shallow waters. It's a color that I recommend. We're gonna be painting oceans next week in our landscape class. And that's one of the colors that I asked them to buy or to have because it's good for the water. So I'm gonna add it here on the egg, and then I will define this last part with darker blue, a little line with the blue. Okay. So what else do we need to paint with the watercolor itself? The beaks of the little chicks. So I'm gonna come with my orange color here, and I'm gonna add those right away. Like that. But this one is actually easier because we're gonna use the pen to define all this stuff. Okay. So I have all the colors on the watercolor right now. What I'm going to do is maybe I define the painting with the pen. So I'm going to use my hair dryer so we can finish it up. Let me turn off the volume, mute myself so you don't have to hear this horrible thing. So 1 second. Okay. So with a micron pen, we're gonna define this first. Okay. So this one is not very nice. Has so many of this. Let me see. Let's try this one. This one is better. Okay, so I'm going to come with the micron pen and I'm gonna follow the lines that of the cheeks. I'm going to define the little cheeks. I'm gonna go around and follow the lines. And then what I'm going to define the beak. And I don't need to use the watercolor for the eye. So I would just paint the eye just like that. And then the little feet. You see that? Really fast. So I have one. Then I will do another one here. Same thing, I'm gonna add the eye, the feet. If you don't have those these pens, they're really good for this kind of projects. Number 5, 0.05. I'm going to define this. And the eyes and the feet. Next one will be this one. Same thing. And the little eye. Remember, always leave this little white spot. The feet. Now with the same with the eggs. I'm just defining the outside, okay? Just the line outside, not the inside. Here. And then I'm gonna come this way. And here. And the last one is here. See, so what does it define this painting? The shadows. If you don't do the shadows, the poor animals are floating. So that's what we need to do now. We need to define the painting with the shadows. So I'm going to mark my line, my horizon line here because it's not on my tracing. I'm gonna put this, the line is here and over here and over here and over here. And I'm gonna come with my combination again of lavender and neutral tint. Or what is the other combination, Marcia? It is
ultramarine blue and umber.
There you go, perfect. So I'm going to come with that color and then I'm gonna make those shadows underneath of the eggs. See? What I do is I put the color a little strong and then I spread it. See that? The wonderful thing about these pens is that they don't smear. They stay in what they're supposed to do. They don't move. And notice that I put a lot of water on my paint to spread that color right away. You don't have to go so extreme with the shadows. You can leave some whites in between. It's okay. And then I put more over here, and then the front ones need a little more shadow, so I have to make more color here to define this. And then I put some more color over here on where they are together. Hold on 1 second. And now the eggs need a little bit of that shadow too. Remember that? So I'm going to use the same color that I have here already mixed up, and I'm gonna put some of that shadow underneath inside the egg on the edge to give that feeling of roundness, and the shadow part of the light is coming from the top. So making a shadow. I'm making a shadow here. And I'm making a shadow here. Okay. See? And you have the little chicks. That was fast and fun. Remember to buy some of these micron colors so you can paint with them and make cards. And I will put my signature here. And then what I can do is I can let this dry. I can scan the painting and put it on my Photoshop program, and then because I'm not that good at calligraphy, probably you guys are, but I'm not. So you can add the Happy Easter and you make a really cute card. Okay, so not that we have time for printing the stuff like that, but if you like to make cards like this and you want to get rid of the actual original, you can actually print them out and have the prints to send to friends. That's a good alternative if you want to keep your originals. Okay, so this is it for today, guys. I really appreciate all the time and having the fun with this. Let me bring my camera here. Marsha, if you want to stop the recording now, and
Yeah.
then we can talk